Section 12E, Environmental Commitment. 12.31, Environmental Responsibilities. The Air Force is a leader and devoted guardian of the environment. As trustee to over 8 million acres of natural habitat, the Air Force takes considerable measures to defend and enhance America's rich natural resources and cultural heritage. Over the last 20 years, the Air Force has followed a compliance-based approach to environmental management, resulting in an unparalleled record of responsiveness to regulation, community interests, and ecological needs. Executive Order 13834 affirmed that it is the policy of the United States that agencies meet energy and environmental performance statutory requirements in a manner that increases efficiency, optimizes performance, eliminates unnecessary use of resources, and protects the environment. In implementing this policy, agencies are asked to prioritize actions that reduce waste, cut costs, enhance the resilience of infrastructure and operations, and enable more effective accomplishments of its mission. Air Force Smart Operations for the 21st Century is aimed at establishing an environment in which all airmen are actively eliminating waste and continuously improving processes. AFI 32-7001, Environmental Management, implements the Environmental Management System framework and provides guidance and procedures applicable to all Air Force installations within the United States territories and foreign countries. 12.32, Environmental Management System. The Department of Defense, as the nation's largest user of federal lands, consumers of energy, and operators of large industrial complexes, must strive to ensure efficient operations while reducing its environmental footprint. All Air Force commanders, supervisors, and process owners shall integrate environmental considerations into daily work activities and at all levels of decision-making for current or proposed actions that may adversely impact the environment. The Environmental Management System is a set of processes and practices that enable a reduction in environmental impact and an increase in operating efficiency. Environmental Management System Priorities. 3 priorities of the Environmental Management System are compliance, risk reduction, and continuous improvement. Compliance will be maintained with all environmental legal obligations and regulatory guidelines. Risk reduction will be achieved through a standardized approach to protect Air Force assets, personnel, and material by effectively identifying and managing risks from environmental encroachment. Instilling a culture that encourages and supports continuous improvement will reduce environmental impacts and regulatory burden. Environmental Management System Phases. The Environmental Management System is designed with 4 phases to help the Air Force at all levels maintain compliance with environmental goals and obligations as outlined in DoD Instruction 4715.17, Environmental Management Systems. Phase 1. Plan. The planning phase includes scope, environmental policy and commitment statement, environmental aspects and impacts, legal and other requirements, objectives and targets, and action plans. Effective planning allows the installation's leadership to focus resources on mitigating risks that present the greatest threat to mission capability. Phase 2. Do. The doing phase includes an environmental risk reduction strategy for environmental aspects associated with the processes or activities that generate pollutants. Each facility shall identify opportunities to optimize selected business, operational or industrial processes, or activities in terms of pollutant reduction, lower energy use, reduction in the use of natural resources, water conservation, and improvements to health and safety. Phase 3. Check. The checking phase includes environmental monitoring and measuring to increase leadership awareness of compliance issues, identify and analyze trends of nonconformance and noncompliance, identify areas for improvement, provide lessons learned to prevent similar noncompliance at other installations, and to minimize or avoid environmental litigation risks. Phase 4. Act. The acting phase includes the management review to assess the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the management system. 12.33, Environmental Management System Guidance. Program areas identified and outlined in AFI 32-7001 and other environmental AFIs include environmental protection initiatives aligned with Department of Defense and Air Force policies and programs. Program areas include air quality, water supply, hazardous materials, hazardous waste, solid waste, toxic substances, petroleum, oil, and lubricants, storage tanks, pest management, cultural resources, natural resources, environmental planning, environmental restoration, environmental baseline surveys, and oversees compliance policy. 12.34 Environmental Compliance. The Air Force Civil Engineering Center, AFCEC, is responsible for managing the Air Force Compliance, Restoration, Sustainability, and National Environmental Policy Act programs. AFCEC provides Headquarters Air Force, major commands, and installations with environmental compliance support, delivering the compliance programming and execution expertise, core knowledge, and leadership required to ensure Air Force installations comply with regulatory programs related to air emissions, water quality, wastewater discharges, hazardous waste generation, and natural and cultural resource management. AFCEC also serves as the central point for collection and analysis of environmental data in various program areas. The AFCEC team includes subject matter experts and program managers in various fields and specialties related to environmental operations, including regulatory compliance, environmental restoration, hazardous waste management, pollution prevention, and environmental assessments.